Oh, that's quite an interesting way to end it,
I was not expecting that.
No. What were your thoughts about that last sentence? Even if in your sphere you are coming across people who find it strange to not be in a relationship, you're not alone.
The ambition is to be in a relationship, get a good job, own a property. I don't know, like...
Hi, welcome back to the therapy floor. I'm Dr. Vicky.
And I'm Dr. Rick.
And we have a good dilemma today, so I'm gonna just go straight into it. So this comes in from a male in his 30s, and he says, I'm in my 30s and I've never had a real relationship. Not because I didn't want one, but it just never happened. I've had situationships, but nothing meaningful or lasting, and it's honestly starting to mess with my head. There's this weird shame around it. I worry when meeting new people because at some point I know the question will come up. So, what's your relationship history? Oh, I hate that question. And I just freeze. Do I downplay it? Do I joke about it? Or should I be honest and risk them thinking I'm some kind of red flag? Yeah. How do I get past feeling like there's something wrong with me? And more importantly, how do I stop letting this insecurity get in the way of actually finding something real? Oh, that's quite an interesting way to end it.
I was not expecting that.
No. What were your thoughts about that last sentence? How do I stop letting this insecurity get in the way of actually finding something real?
I feel really confused. I don't know if I thought you didn't want anything really real. But now I'm reading that first sentence. Not because I didn't want one, but it just never happened.
Wait, so you got the impression that he didn't want a relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that impression at all. That's interesting, isn't it?
Maybe I'm just thinking of like past clients. Maybe that's what's happened. Isn't that so interesting? I feel like that's another topic in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
When like other things can infiltrate.
Yes.
And then you don't see the person for who they are.
Yeah.
I've actually like not worked with somebody because something in my current life was infiltrating and I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
Or I was going to be so blinded
Yeah.
to the help they needed. But no, I think when you were reading that, I just grasped like the first few words and then it transported me back to clients who have come to me who have said, I don't want a relationship.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's something wrong with me? Because I don't want anything meaningful. I'm not aspiring to that.
Okay. Yeah, because I got completely the opposite.
Let's go with you, because I've just made up my own dilemma.
No, but it's interesting that things that kind of like...
Get triggered in us.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, okay, this person wants a relationship and they feel a lot of shame around not being able to have a relationship. And they're worried about potential partners thinking that they're a red flag. But then the last point was quite interesting, wasn't it? Because for me, that indicated a level of self-awareness in that maybe there's something that I am doing. I'm holding myself back in a way. But I don't know if you're holding yourself back because you are just because of that feeling of shame. Like, I don't want other people to find this thing out about me. And I don't want people to eventually reject me. So therefore, I'm going to reject myself or kind of keep myself back. Or whether you're saying that you think you've had some part in not putting your best foot forward, or... No, actually, that's not the right word. Not putting your best foot forward, but you feel that you are hiding behind your insecurity.
I need to read this again.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any of that.
No?
You go with that. Yeah.
Okay. This is very interesting.
This is interesting.
Do you get the bit about I feel shame, I feel like I'm a walking red flag?
Yeah, I get that
not
bit.
Had anything significant, even though I've wanted one.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, have you not had anything significant because you've just not met the right person?
Well, that would be like the obvious answer, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think people can really internalize this and think, gosh, you've met clients that have done this. And I think it can be with any situation, any dilemma, where there could be multiple explanations for why something has happened or hasn't happened, but they internalize it and think it's because of me. I'm unlovable. I'm the problem. There's something wrong with me. I always am rejected.
But I don't know if this person's saying that. I think
they haven't said that.
No, I think they're taking ownership of, I'm putting myself out there and I'm feeling them to be not meaningful. I'm owning that they're not meaningful.
Oh, interesting.
To me. It's not meaningful to me. It's not significant to me. But I think that's interesting that you see that as a red flag. I don't think that's a red flag. I think I would own that. You know, when you're meeting people and they say, what's your relationship history? I would actually own that.
Yeah.
To say, yeah, I'm dating, I've had situationships, but that spark's just not been there. That desire has just not been there.
Do you know what though, Ritz? I think it's easier said than done.
Go.
And I'll say easier said than done because I was single longer than you were single, right?
Okay, fair.
And it was like a question that people would ask. So why are you still single? And it was almost like an implication, like
there's something wrong with you.
there's something.
But that's why I'm getting angry.
Okay.
Because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Relationships don't define you. Like, own the fact that, yeah, I've not met the right person.
Yeah. That's the right answer.
That is, yeah.
That's the right
And maybe
answer.
it is easier to say that when you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
But when you have been maybe putting yourself out there and struggling, or not struggling, or just feeling like it's a bit of a slog. So maybe, yeah, I'm saying it with some rose-tinted glasses on. I don't know, I think when you said red flag, it did make me feel quite angry. Like, not being in a real, or what you would define as a real relationship, is not a red flag.
It's not. And I think, unfortunately, people think that it's just a given. Like, you're in a relationship. Everyone has relationships. And if you don't, why is that? And it's unfortunate because a lot of people are dishonest in their relationships. A lot of people are in relationships in which they are very deeply unhappy, very insecure, but who think, well, this is it.
It's better to be in this.
It's better to be in this than to be alone.
Yeah.
And so
that comes up a lot in my therapy room.
Oh, yeah. And that can give the false impression to everyone else that, this thing called relationships is just so easy.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to kind of like get into a relationship and just have a life with someone.
I think what we're talking about here is confidence, actually, because even if you are in a relationship and you're unhappy, to be honest, to have the honesty requires a level of confidence in yourself. And I think it's the same thing on the opposite direction when you're not in a relationship. And if someone is like, why are you in a relationship? Again, I think it comes back to a level of confidence in yourself to own that, to be able to make a statement which is, I've not found the right person who I want in my life.
Yeah.
That can fit into my life, rather than I have to adjust and mold and I'm the problem and I'm not good enough to be in other people's lives.
Yeah. But it can be quite hard to do that if you are feeling a level of like insecurity about this. I also want to normalize this because I feel like there are, especially now because we do have a bit more choice, we do have somewhat of a, not really, but we're moving towards like equality within the genders. Like, you don't necessarily need to always be in a relationship, like financially, socially, to survive. And so people can afford to be more choosy and to be more picky.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've come across so many people who are in their 30s and they've never had a relationship, inside the clinic room and outside. So I also want to normalise this for you, that even if in your sphere you are coming across people who find it strange to be in a relationship, to not be in a relationship, you're not alone. You're not alone with this whatsoever.
And I think that normalization is going to help you get past the statement here that you made, which is, how do I get past feeling that there's something wrong with me? And I think it's telling yourself there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with you or anybody who has not had a relationship yet.
Yeah.
Especially if you want one.
Yeah.
And yet is a really big part of that statement.
Yeah, because it's also important to own that it is something that you do want and it is something that is important to you. I think it is important that we are in relationships and that we know how to do relationships well. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but any kind of relationship, because we are social beings. And if you are someone who places a lot of value in having companionship and having a sense of belonging with other individuals, then don't downplay that either. It's like a balance, isn't it? It's like a line to walk. Yes, this is important to me. Like, I do want to be in a relationship, but at the same time, it doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
It's not everything. It's not all of me. And there are still so many ways in which I'm complete and whole.
And I actually wonder, as you're meeting people, can you communicate that? So if someone brings it up, and I guess it's the way people bring it up, right? Is it brought up as like, what is wrong with you? Why haven't you been chosen yet? As opposed to, you've not had a relationship. What, can you tell me some more about that? Or what's that been about? Have you ever been close to it? That actually, rather than that halting things and being like, sirens are going off for this person, for me, for whoever. I wonder if you just pause there and take a moment to say, and come back to you and redefine the things that Vicky has kind of just mentioned here. That, yes, finding a relationship is one part of me, but there are all these other parts of me too. And that's, you know, my career, my family, my connections, my social life, my hobbies, my sense of community, physical activity, whatever it might be. Like, it's just it's a part of the pie chart.
Yeah.
It's not the whole thing.
And if you find yourself confronted with people who view it as a negative thing, well, then that's a clear flag for you, isn't it? That's a clear indicator that maybe we don't see things in the same way. I mean, if they're okay to have their mind changed or to they're open to new perspectives, great. But if they're someone who's quite rigid and concrete in their thinking, maybe that's also a sign for you that, okay, maybe we're not necessarily aligned in this way.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to know that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I think when you're getting to know people, what this dilemma is actually, I think, really about is our shadow side. That we all have parts of us that we're maybe afraid to show to other people. The more vulnerable, the more honest, the more is this going to be accepted by society. And I wonder if the work here is also for you to accept this within yourself, accepting that you haven't been in a relationship yet, or something that you can describe as true and meaningful, and that that's important to you. Because I think the more you learn to accept that within yourself until it does happen, and this can be anything to do with our shadows, like we all have shadows within ourselves that we find difficult to tolerate and accept. But I think if you can learn to accept that within yourself, that's going to give you the confidence then that if it comes up, whether it's a question, a red flag, or whatever it might be, it's just going to give you more confidence within yourself to communicate that to the other person, whether that's somebody who is a potential for you, or whether that's just like a passerby.
And what a great thing to offer someone, actually, to offer within a relationship, if you can be vulnerable and kind of own yourself completely. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
this is my story.
Yeah.
I think that speaks of a lot of confidence.
I think we're coming full circle now, because now I'm getting what you were saying about holding back.
Yeah? You're getting it now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting it now. You know, you're saying finding something real. I think when you have that confidence in yourself, that will find you.
Yeah.
Because then you're being more real.
Yeah.
You're then not holding back or walking into these situations tentatively.
Yeah. And with like your guard up.
Yeah.
Or like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
Just in case I'm kind of like rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah. But that was super interesting how we started off seeing things completely differently.
Yeah.
And this happens in the therapy room.
This
doesn't
happens.
it?
Yeah.
Like you can come in, you can have an assumption, or you can have an initial impression.
And I did. I
someone.
assumed, didn't I?
Or you can also have an impression because of what someone is leading you to believe, but then things kind of shift and shape up in a different way as the work progresses.
It uncovers.
Yeah.
It uncovers. And I feel like this is what's happening here. I really believe you're uncovering your shadow. Now I want to go like super deep, and I know we're like going to end it, but I do this, don't I?
This is Ritz's MO. We're about to end, and she just goes, like nosedive deeper into the issue. Go on.
No, I think I think there's deeper shame to this, and I'd be wanting to look a bit more at like the family system of relationships. So I'm just going to leave you with that. Like how were people viewed in your family that weren't in a relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the goal to be aspired to? And if you weren't, were you almost marked against? So I'll just leave you with that deep thought.
You're just going to leave them? I was going to say, and then what, Ritz? What would you suggest that they do?
Well, challenge that. You know, that's has your family system created a rule for living there? That, you know, the ambition is to be in a relationship, get a good job, own a property. I don't know, like what were the rules that were potentially set out for you that you've just carried on with them, and you've maybe never challenged, actually, is that what I want?
Yeah.
Or not even is that what I want, is it that people that aren't in relationships viewed in a negative light, or that there's something wrong with them, or that there's shame attached to it?
Yeah.
And so it's about challenging these rules and assumptions that we have grown up with, that we just take at face value, that will unconsciously shape how we not only interact with ourselves, but interact with the world and then other people. And again, it's just to just pause and take a moment there and ask yourself, does this rule work for me right now? Write your own rules, write your own script, have your own ethos to live by.
Okay. Now we kind of went round, we went deep, we came back up again. Thank you so much for sending in this dilemma and for revealing something that is quite pertinent and personal to you. And I think other people will be able to benefit from you taking a risk there and sharing this with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
So if you have liked this video and you've enjoyed listening to us talk, then please hit subscribe and share it with someone else that you think might enjoy it. And if you have a dilemma, you can send it in to us at hello@thetherapyfloor.com and we may feature it in one of these episodes.
I'm Dr. Ritz.
And I'm Dr. Vicky.
And we'll see you on the floor soon.
Bye.
Bye.